Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's a beautiful new week, and we have a lot of things to go over today. It's been a busy week, a regular recap and a pay-per-view recap. So, thanks for stopping by with us here on this beautiful Monday morning. Of course, here, if you feel like joining in and discussing more WWE content, join the WWE subreddit. And thanks to our friends at Ascendant for their donation of our soundtrack that we have been using. So today we're recapping the week of May 20th through May 26th. We will also be doing King and Queen of the Ring results, not spoilers, obviously. 4 hours past that. So let's see if we can fit all this in. This will be a challenge.
Yeah, if we go a little bit over the time, it don't matter. We'll be good.
Yeah. So again, not being paid by Prime for this, so don't sue me, Logan Paul. I gotta say, my out of everything I saw last week, my favorite moment of the entire week was at the pay-per-view when Michael Cole was mouthing off to Logan Paul and Corey Graves got up in his face. And I really hoped for a second we were going to see Corey Graves attack Logan Paul since he's been training to return to the ring. Didn't happen.
Yeah, no, I've seen some people online say they might have an ongoing feud in the future, which would be interesting. But I think time will tell on that one, because I know last episode we alluded a little bit to how Corey Graves was getting better with his injury and might be able to make an in-ring return. So maybe that will be a rivalry coming up in the future for us.
My favorite part of the pay-per-view, outside of like the matches and stuff, it was part of one of the matches, was the production of the main event and that drone shot around
the ring,
around Logan Paul's frog splash onto Cody on the table. That was probably one of the best shots I've seen in WWE ever. Yeah.
Production has improved a lot in the Triple H era. That's for sure.
Yep.
So I guess we will start. I mean, the main bulk of everything that was exciting last week was the pay-per-view. Everything kind of led up to that. So we'll walk through the week and kind of build up to the pay-per-view because that's really where a lot of the exciting things happen, because most people have seen it. For those who haven't, we'll start with Raw from May 20th. That was the night that Lyra went over Io Sky to lock in her Queen of the Ring slot. Gunther went over Jay to lock in his King of the Ring slot. And then in addition to that, Chad Gable beat Sami Zayn in a match. Braun Breaker beat Cale Dixon in a match, formerly of the
if we want to call it that.
Well, some interesting thoughts about what Braun Breaker was doing on Raw. Awesome Truth over Judgment Day to retain the tag titles. And then Shayna and Zoe defeating Damage Control, Katana and Kaden, and Maxine and Ivy to be the tag team #1 contenders. So, takeaways from Raw. Any favorite spots and thoughts from the show?
What they're finally doing something, or that they're finally doing something with Braun Breaker?
Yes.
Yeah, and rather than just a squash match, they actually had something happen after it, which I liked, and to lead into what's going to happen, going forward.
That's what's interesting about it, is because I saw people complaining online about it, but they're handling these squash matches better than they've done before, like with Braun Strowman and others. They're actually building a story around it, and they're showing that he's not happy with it, which is great. They haven't done that before.
And the fact that you could see Braun Breaker trying to like stay in character when freaking what's his face was like, I'm not good at math, but
oh, I had a note on that. That was my favorite part of the night, was him referencing Steiner math, because not a lot of people probably are going to remember that, or new fans aren't going to get that.
I was cracking up when he said that. I was like, hell yeah.
We had a big return of Andre the Giant this week, too.
Oh, I know. Yeah. R-Truth is so great. I love him.
One thing that I really like that they did too was on the incoming shots too with Lyra when she was coming into the stadium. You saw, if you looked at the Jeep, you saw Liv hop out of it first, and then you saw Finn Balor hop out of it after. I thought that was a really, really nice touch because they always do stuff in the background, but this one you really had to pay attention to see it in zoom. And it wasn't like a clear picture like they usually.
Because if you weren't paying attention during one of those entrances, because one was during Lyra's and the other was during Jey Uso's.
Yep.
So if you weren't paying attention during one of those, you didn't know it happened.
Yeah. It's one thing I like about this era is there's so many, like, I guess you'd call them Easter eggs now. Like, they didn't do that so much before.
And there's a lot more storylines than there was in the Vince era. Because with Vince, there was like maybe one or two main storylines, and then everything else just happened. Now it's like I'm so interested in the Chad Gable and Otis freaking storyline. I'm wondering what's going to happen with, the Judgment Day, and if Finn Balor wins the Money in the Bank that's being rumored, so he can face, Damian Priest.
It's funny you mentioned that at the end. I do have a card on that. Sonya Deville is back. Forgot to reference that. Interesting timing. Not sure if that's right before Pride Month, if that was planned, but interesting timing there. But I think something that was really cool, we've talked about this for a while, is they're starting to sow those Chad Gable and the Creed brothers seeds. So.
And also the one, this whole thing now, because we all thought Liv and Dominic were going to be a thing, but like he came out, and we'll talk about it, but that whole storyline too. Yeah. It confused me a little bit. I was like, what's going on there? But
was he trying to help Becky, or did he give her the chair knowing that she wouldn't use it and
distract her? So I'm waiting to see what happens tonight on Raw.
Seeing this pertains to Raw too with the QR code. This is something I thought about. I don't think it's going to happen, but just a theory of mine. So the puzzle said something about being a puppeteer, correct?
Puppet loves his strings or something like that.
Yeah, we have 5 people in the Judgment Day. Is he just using Liv as a puppet to cause all of this, and he's setting them free from the Judgment Day, maybe?
Huh. There's so much going on.
It's like an onion, the layers.
It's like a parfait.
Yeah.
If we're going to make this Shrek reference.
a good lasagna. A good tiramisu. But all in all, a pretty good Raw. I mean, Raw and SmackDown lately have been getting better. I like that Raw had more matches on it than usual. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I think we've been hitting like 4. So good to see some matches there. And these obviously
back in the day, all the storylines happened during promos or backstage, and now a lot of the storylines, Triple H and stuff, is bringing those back to the ring. And telling that story in the ring with people coming out and people getting involved. And it's, I'm glad to see that we're seeing more wrestling.
Yes, it is. It's back to being professional wrestling again and not sports entertainment. So that's the big difference in what we're seeing lately for sure.
One quick thing about Raw too is, what do you guys think is going to happen with Carlito attacking Cruz del Toro there? What direction is that going in? Because I really can't draw anything out in my head.
I don't know
either. Yeah, I'm wondering what's going to happen with that. That storyline I think is going to drag on a little bit, and it's just going to die out.
I mean, I don't know, and that's cool to not be, because back in the Vince era, you could predict storylines a mile away.
Yeah.
And now you can't really do that so much to actually surprise you. I mean, take the pay-per-view, for example. Results surprised me. King and Queen of the Ring. The results surprised a lot of people. It didn't go the way it was going to go for a lot of people. So it's cool to be guessing again. I hadn't seen that in a long time.
I was just about to say not in a while.
Another one too, Kiana James saying she was asked Adam Pearce if she ever needs help to let him know. I know you, Chad, have said maybe her in like a management helping position. I wonder if they're going to do something like that maybe too.
Actually, on that note, good segue. Kiana James on Main Event again, going over Natalia. So she's getting some play again on TV. So good to see that she's doing some in-ring stuff, but also some out-of-ring stuff. Also on main event, AOP going over the Creed brothers, and then just to recap the other minor shows. With Level Up, Jasmine Nix, who I love, going over Lainey Reed, Tank Ledger going over Kale Dixon. That guy can't catch a break. And then WWE Speed wrapped up the current tournament. Tyler Bate earning his shot by defeating Apollo Crews on the 22nd. And then on the 24th, Ricochet retaining his title against Tyler Bate. So some pretty good weeks on the minor shows. I feel bad for Kale Dixon, though, from Raw to Level Up. Rough spot for this guy.
I found it weird too how they used the filler. They played the clip of Raw where he got absolutely destroyed by Braun and then carried out in the ambulance. Like I know it's one day after, so for people who know that, it's just sort of weird that they put that in after. I thought because it takes away from what Braun did, the realism of it. Personally, myself, I felt.
Yeah,
because main event airs on Wednesdays.
Level Up ends
or Level Up is Fridays, main events Wednesdays. I mean, maybe in a week he got better.
Is Level Up recorded before?
No, it's recorded on Tuesday after
on Tuesday.
Yeah.
One thing I see that I'm really liking out of these smaller shows is Natalya.
Yeah,
she's like clutch to me. They don't really have much for her, in terms of story on TV right now. Yeah. So she's willing to take that step back and help some of these younger women, learn a lot so they can be better in their, careers. So I'm really liking that with her. I wish more superstars would do that.
I think a lot of it, her and Tyson Kidd have a school as well, and her coming from the Hart family. Like, I think training's in their blood a lot. So, I mean, I think that's good. And she's getting some wins here and there, and she's on TV. She's on, she's on the main shows. She's on NXT, and she's like the most winning woman in history. So she's earned her flowers, that's for sure, with everything she's done.
One interesting spot on main event too is when she picked up Kiana James's purse and started walking around the ring with it. I found that really interesting too, and it put another thing in my head too. Would we think Kiana James could win Money in the Bank and starts carrying around the briefcase, like how I said before with the suitcase instead of the purse? Maybe that's leading into that somewhat. I don't know.
I can see it because we're getting pretty close. There's so much female talent right now. They could do a really good women's main event match. Kiana James would be great for it. One of the redheaded witches, perhaps. So much. I mean, it's really good. I think a lot of this is in credit to how good NXT is and how stacked their women's roster has been, because their women's roster for a while, and I would argue even probably now, is better than the main roster in most respects. So I definitely think they're building up. I think they're padding out that main roster.
Yeah, Sean's doing really good down there developing those girls.
It just the whole thing in general, I think WWE has such a bright future, because right now we see Cody with the Universal Championship, and they have a very limited amount of worthy heels to go against him now, and it just shows the promise that they have for the future and what it'll look like in 5 years. As long as they stick with those guys and develop them, I think it'll be a wonderful thing that they'll be able to execute on perfectly.
Yeah. Well, on that subject with NXT, we can chat about some of that. It was another great week. NXT's been on fire lately. Had some of the first women's North American qualifiers with Fallon Henley defeating Thea Hale to get her spot, Jada Parker defeating Brinley Reese to get her spot, and then a good tag team match, Supersonic Duo going over the Family, North American #1 contender. Very interesting finish to that match I want to talk about. Wesley and Joe Coffey over Josh Briggs. Dante Chen going over Lexis King. Odd booking. Lola Vice going over Carly Bright. And Natalya and Carmen defeating Shayna and Lola. A very interesting end to that match as well. So what are your highlights from that one?
Well, one thing that really shocked me was the Dante Chen over Lexis King. Like that was a guy that we've only really seen recently on Level Up, and the next thing you know, Mr. Stone and Ava go to book him and say, "Oh, we got an opponent," and so you think Lexis King's going to absolutely smash it, but then you see Dante come out and win that one. I didn't see that coming at all.
I didn't see that coming either. Especially how they were trying to push him and all the stuff they're trying to do with him. I just never saw that ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then too, like Levice and Shayna Baszler, that whole thing that happened was just leading into so that they could do the women's underground match at Battleground, which I think will be a phenomenal showcase. I wonder if they'll switch out the rings to do like a octagon thing and maybe do people around it. But my guess is they'll probably just stick to a normal underground match. But I'm very curious to see what they do with that in the upcoming weeks.
I wish they would do that whole pay-per-view in the octagon. Because that Lola Vice, what she did at the end of that match, I was like, oh, this is going to be a great thing going into Battleground. And now, if that was in an octagon, I would, really love that. I think.
How cool would that have been, though, for like an old school, like Extreme Rules pay-per-view back in the day when WWE did extreme matches?
Yep. Because I wish it was easier for them to switch out from a WWE ring to an octagon for that match, but that venue's too small, and it would take them like at least 2 to 3 hours to swap those.
Yeah, I've been in some arenas before when they've been setting up, and it takes a minute to put that together. Yeah.
Even doing, say, for example, that the North American women's ladder match in an octagon, like all the different spots you could do with that too. You could put prop ladders up on the side of it. You could have people jumping in and out of it. There's a ton of different ways you could go with that.
But that mat would be too hard for them to take bumps on. The octagon is rough.
It
doesn't have that give because it's straight floor at that point.
That is true.
So the number one North American men's contender match, that finish was probably my favorite spot from the night. The double finish. I mean, I can't recall the last time I've seen that. So that was really cool to see that set up. So leading into Wesley and Joe Coffey against Obafemi. I'm surprised Josh Briggs got out of it, but I mean, makes sense, I guess, to set up a triple threat with them. But that finish was cool. Like, I love that.
I love the finish, but just the fact that there's so many triple threat matches that are happening lately, it's just
Yeah, those and the Fatal 4-Ways both, they just keep rotating between the two of them for number one contenderships recently.
Have you noticed they're really high on Gallus right now? Could you tell that through the show? Like, they're really high on Gallus.
Yeah. Another thing we got to mention too is Sexy Red's going to be there next Tuesday night. I wonder what direction they're going to go in with that.
Oh God, I don't know how I even feel about that.
I was barbecuing this week or Friday night with my daughter. She's 17, and I was talking about that, and I was like, Sexy Red's going to be on wrestling next week, and she was like, I know who that is, and I'm like, yeah, that's the idea.
I'm sad that I know who that is.
We won't play any clips on here. I don't want to switch our tag to mega explicit. So next week Tatum gets her shot Tuesday night or tomorrow night, not next week.
Yep.
Yeah, tomorrow night.
Yep.
So I'm ready.
Then we got Kalani Jordan and Ren St. Clair too. So, and then we'll see who Roxanne's opponent's going to be at Battleground also tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to
NXT,
see that.
Man. It's just they're getting so good lately. Just it's Sean is doing an incredible job with it. Ava doesn't annoy me as much anymore. Like the show is getting better. So
yeah, she was annoying me at the very beginning.
Couldn't find her way. I guess I don't know if it's expectations because she's young or because she's like the Rock's kid, but I don't know. It wasn't quite there yet, but she's doing a lot better with it lately. And I definitely would like to see Robert Stone involved more in a lot of things. So I think there's something they could do there, or Battle for Authority or something like that.
Yeah, they threw her in there way too fast though. Like she didn't do anything before she was in NXT, and they just The Rock's daughter, we're throwing her in for the namesake, and we're going to see how it goes. And it didn't go well. Well, with Schism, it wasn't that bad, but then once she became a general manager, it was like, oh, please stop talking.
Exactly.
One match I want to ask you guys about too is how do we feel about Gallus versus Trick Williams and Javon Evans coming up tomorrow too? That's like, I know they had the altercation last Tuesday night, but I just think that's sort of a weird matchup myself.
It is. It's weird to me. We know Trick Williams is going to win because of how weird it is. That's one of those that we can expect now.
I like Javon Evans a lot. Like he gives me vibes. I don't know, kind of like Ricochet vibes, but not quite. Like I really like I see a lot of potential with him. So I'm really excited to see where they go with him. Potentially maybe turning heel on Trick and being Trick's next competitor possibly. I mean,
his explosiveness reminds me of a young Kofi Kingston almost.
Yeah.
The Jamaican Kofi.
Yeah.
The Jamaican one, the good one. Yeah.
He used to do this when he came out and the fireworks went off.
That's one of my all-time favorite promos. Was I don't remember if it was Triple H or who was. Dude, aren't you Jamaican?
Where'd your Jamaican accent go? And he was like, but that match, though, I think it's going to be. It was just one of those. Hey, we don't have anything to do right now. Let's throw that together and let's see if we can progress it after that. Let's see where it goes after the match.
Exactly. Yep. So a good week on NXT, and then we went right into SmackDown in Jeddah. Not a lot of matches there. Bailey going over Chelsea. Oh, sad face. LA Knight and the Street Profits going over A-Town, Down Under, and Carmelo Hayes. And the final brackets finished out for Queen of the Ring and King of the Ring with Nia beating Bianca and Randy going over Tama Tonga. Again, at this point, my brackets, and I saved them, were just... I mean, they're trashed. Like every prediction I had was just gone. None of it works. It's all out.
I did good on the men's, and I ended up getting the women's right with Nia Jax, but that Io Sky over Valkyria shocked me. I did not have that one at all.
I mean, I my hope was that Gunther was going to win King of the Ring. I just didn't expect that to happen because I'm so used to storylines not being that great, and I'm still coming around to things being okay, and I'm like, oh well, it did happen, so that's surprising. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. Before we get into the pay-per-view, I guess any highlights from SmackDown?
I thought it was really weird that how they put together the that 6-man tag match.
Well, there's a reason for that, actually, because they were supposed to debut Tonga Loa and Solo Sikoa, and Tonga could not get into Saudi Arabia. That was actually a real thing. I thought they were just playing that in.
Oh no, he couldn't get it. He couldn't get a work visa to get into the country. Okay. And what Paul said was, you bring in these people that can't pass background checks. That was a real thing.
Gotcha.
Which means he won't be able to go to Canada, Australia, or Japan either.
He was in Japan. He wrestled in Japan.
Really?
Yeah, because he was in New Japan with his brother. Yeah,
they were a tag team in New Japan with the Bullet Club too.
They must have given him an exception then, because I know usually, from what I've seen in the past, you can get into pretty much any other place other than that. So it really surprised me that Saudi gunned him down like that.
Well, they don't let women wrestle in anything but 1932 swimsuits. I mean,
yeah, I completely forgot about that until I watched it. I'm like, oh yeah, I completely forgot that this was going on last year too.
Yep.
We had both of them wearing Britney Spears clothes. I saw a meme with that. That's pretty funny.
Yep. That's the second time Liv has done a Britney Spears tribute outfit.
I dig it. I mean, I grew up in the 90s, so and I'm cool with it. It's good for me. So I guess we'll just roll into it. We've been building up to it. So Saturday, King and Queen of the Ring, a incredibly solid pay-per-view. We finally got a kickoff match for the first time in forever, but the kickoff show was like 2 hours, so surely they should have thrown that in there with Bianca and Jade going over Candice and Indy. Liv defeating Becky to win the Women's World Championship. Sami Zayn retaining his title against Chad Gable and Bronson Reed. Nia defeating Lyra to be Queen of the Ring. Gunther defeating Randy, or did he, to win King of the Ring. And Cody Rhodes going over Logan Paul. So I guess we'll just go down the line. We'll go match by match and start with the women's tag match.
Good.
It happened.
I didn't see any other outcome.
Yeah, I mean, it happened. That's really about all we can do with it. I mean, Bianca and Jade, I imagine they'll have a long reign until they turn them against each other.
like I like Indy Hartwell. I just still am not sold on Mrs. Gargano. So I mean, I think that's the only reason she's there.
I think so too. Yeah. And not to sound, and I mean, not to sound sexist or anything, but
Right.
she's not a performer who stands out. So it's
She's
one of those
not.
that you feel like that's why she's there. Because you look at Charlotte and Andrade. Also, where is Andrade? But the two of them stand out in their own way, and they're fine. But some, it's like, I don't know why you work here, because you don't really do anything.
Yeah, it's like I every once in a while I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna give her a chance. I have high hopes for her, but then she gets in the ring, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's why.
It's like they haven't translated well from NXT. Indy as well, unfortunately.
One thing though that makes me question a long championship reign is I don't think she's acting out that knee injury. I think she actually has I won't say severe, but significant knee injury. And just, I know with knees, those can get worse the more you're on it. So I'm just curious to see how long they'll have that reign go on if she has to eventually go out in this time. Because she had that injury back at SummerSlam last year too, if I remember correctly.
And then when she was grabbing her knee and the way she was wincing in pain during her match with Nia Jax too, you could see it's like, oh, that looks legit.
Yeah.
Unless she's just gotten really that good at selling, her knee's fucked. Or sorry, her knee's
screwed.
It's okay. We're in the Paul Levesque era. It's not PG anymore.
We're not in the Netflix era yet.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're not there yet.
We're in between.
We're in the PG-13 era.
I mean, it works. Well, I guess moving along, new women's world champion.
Yeah. And didn't see it.
Did not see that coming.
I thought they'd wait till at least Clash of the Castle, seeing it's not Becky's homeland, but it's closer to it than that. Yeah. So I thought they would definitely have her go in there as champion.
The only thing that made me question if she was going to win was once Triple H said that the winner of the Queen of the Ring is going to be at SummerSlam for a title match, because I thought they were going to wait for Liv to beat Becky at SummerSlam. But once they did that, I was like, oh, maybe there's going to be something, Liv's going to win it tonight, but and then I thought Clash of the Castle, but I was pushing for SummerSlam, but after that announcement, I was like, no, it's going to happen soon.
I mean, another angle to look at is Becky's contract is about to expire very soon. There have been rumors that AEW has apparently made her a hefty offer, but I don't put any stock in that, because to me, I feel like she's going to be like Seth Rollins. There's some of those WWE people that probably won't ever go anywhere.
Listening to I listened to her book on Audible, and listening to that, she did when she talked about going other places, it seemed like she really didn't want to.
Yeah.
So and the thing about the AEW rumor, I think that's whoever started that one is way off, because AEW could get sued right now, because if they did offer her a contract, they're like, that's contract tampering.
So,
so they could be in a lot of trouble for that, but you know what happens.
But again, it's Tony Khan. I mean, you never know. So but I don't see her going where I didn't see her as a transitional champion. That was very surprising to me. But as we were talking about earlier, the match had a screwy finish, so Dom slid the chair in for Becky to use, and then Liv used it. So I mean,
I think we're going to see Liv come out tonight on Raw with the title to thank everyone for being behind her, and her revenge tour is over. And then she's going to be like, I want to thank someone for helping me get here. And she's going to bring out Dom.
Aren't we having the rematch tonight, though?
Yeah, Becky said on the pay-per-view that and that was another thing that was really cool, is because you don't hear about rematch clauses anymore.
Yeah.
Like never. So, and she said, my contract has a rematch clause and I'm going to use it. They never do that anymore. I can't remember the last time that happened. So that's one thing that they're throwing in that I think is really cool to have back in the mix again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll see tonight. I think we'll go in normal if they actually, in fact, do the rematch. They might have Adam Pearce or Triple H say we're holding off to Clash of the Castle. I could see that tonight, like because they said 2 weeks ago that JD McDonough was going to face Braun Strowman. I don't think that's happening until tonight, I believe. And I just think if they do have that match tonight, I think you're going to see Dom blatantly help Liv retain the title if they do in fact have that rematch tonight.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think the same thing.
So right after that, we saw Sammy retaining his title. A good match. I mean, I was pretty impressed with it, but I mean, to me, the highlight was really the Chad Notice bit. I mean, now you got me saying it, Otis.
Otis. Otis. No, but that was probably the highlight of the match right there when he clotheslined Chad Gable. But the look on his face, it didn't seem like he was that, he was kind of broken up about it, and he didn't. So we'll see. Like probably tonight, Chad will call him out for it, and he'll finally flip, and they'll have that match at Clash of the Castle.
It's coming. I'm ready for it, and it'd be cool to see Tozawa split off, because then they could have bring in the Creed Bros and feud a little bit as tag teams or something. I mean, there's a lot they can do with it. But I definitely think, setting up Creed Brother stuff on Raw, I definitely think it's something they're building towards.
I know we want to see Chad Gable win the Intercontinental title. I think all three of us want that.
Yeah. I was honestly surprised he didn't win.
I'm now at the point where I want to see him win it, but I don't want to see him beat Sammy. I want to see there be some kind of thing that happens where Otis faces Sammy at Clash of the Castle, wins, or at Money in the Bank, wins the Intercontinental title, and then it's Otis and Chad Gable for the title.
I mean, Sammy has communicated to him that he kind of feels bad for him or something. So maybe at some point, as a screw you to Chad Gable, he throws him a title match.
Yep.
And then he wins, surprisingly. Maybe Chad comes out and interferes and actually intends to screw Otis, but maybe super kicks Sammy instead, and then Otis wins. I don't know. It'd be cool. There's a lot you can build there.
I wonder if we're gonna see Kurt Angle too with the new addition to Chad Gable's music.
The "You Sucks." That was awesome.
That was so perfect. I'm glad they decided to add that into the fans. Actually added that into the music.
That crowd, though, to go off topic for a minute, the crowd was on point. Later on, when Randy Orton came out singing his music like they did in France, a very loud crowd there. Say what you will about the Saudis and their rules and the political stuff and whatnot, that crowd was lit up. That's for sure.
But somebody made the point. I can't remember where I saw it. It was I think it was in one of the in a chat on Reddit, but somebody said that it makes sense that the overseas crowds are louder because they don't get it as often.
Yeah,
they don't see WWE as often, and we're spoiled. We can drive every other month if we wanted to drive within an hour of your house, and you can see a WWE show live or televised. So we get spoiled.
Yeah, even not, and my state gets at least 2 to 3 televised events a year, but I can drive to Louisiana, Kansas, St. Louis, Mississippi, Dallas. Like there's always something within easily a half a day's drive from here that I can go to regularly. So we definitely do take it for granted, I think.
That crowd in Greensboro on Monday, though, was actually pretty hyped, though. So my friend was there live. It was his first ever WWE show. He just got into wrestling about 2-3 years ago. Nice. But he said he was impressed at how hype everyone was. They were singing and chanting during the commercial breaks, even when no one was in the ring. So, they're starting to pick up. I think a lot of fans see overseas crowds, how hyped they are, and they now want to beat them.
I don't think we'll ever beat France, but it is good seeing the U.S. get more energized.
And then I heard too the Jeddah Superdome there. I know amount, like capacity wise, it's not the biggest, but I think for actual land mass, it's the biggest dome in the world, I believe, just for actual land mass, not capacity. But I always like the Saudi shows the best for the international shows, because seeing they pay so much money for it, they usually end up having the best cards out of the international shows that I've noticed.
I bet they'll get a WrestleMania at some point. Like,
yeah.
I really wish they would do the freaking Greatest Royal Rumble again. I wish they would do that at least once a year at Crown Jewel, even if it's on the pre-show. Like they used to do the Andre the Giant Battle Royale before WrestleMania. I wish they would do it because that was so much fun. And the longest reigning champion in WWE history, Braun Strowman, would be able to defend that greatest Battle Royal title.
Yeah, Roman Reigns has got nothing on that record.
I know, right? He won that belt and never defended it. No defenses, longest reigning champion.
When was that? That was April of 2018.
Wow.
So he's had that belt 2,222 days. Oh my! Well, I mean,
beat everyone.
They did announce Crown Jewel on this show, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. Oh, and another side note before I forget,
SummerSlam.
Another piece of news. Yeah, SummerSlam will be 2 nights the year after next. I mean,
I don't know how I missed that.
Yep, 2026 Minneapolis.
2 nights.
2 nights.
Huh.
It makes you wonder if next year will still be 1 year, or if they're going to gradually transition to 2 nights. I mean, I could see it like the big fours going 2 nights. I mean, Royal Rumble could easily go 2 nights, like men's on one night, women on the other night.
Yeah.
Fill it with other matches. That's fine. Survivor Series, maybe. But I mean, SummerSlam and WrestleMania, easily 2 nights. So interesting. Minneapolis got their consolation prize, though. So hopefully they'll be okay with that. I mean, It's not WrestleMania, but they did give them a 2-night pay-per-view to replace the one they thought they were going to get. So,
and the way SummerSlam is it's summer WrestleMania. That's all it is. Sometimes SummerSlam even has a better card and a better show some years. It really all depends on the year.
Yeah, it does. So that'll be really, really cool. So later on in the night, Nia Jax became your Queen of the Ring.
Is Lyra Valkyria still alive?
I don't know. She got some internal organ damage. I'm pretty sure.
She took that like a champ.
And I wanted Lyra to win just because I really like her. I like her work in NXT, but I think they booked it right. She got all the way to the end, which shows that she's good. But they also gave Nia something. I mean, say what you will about Nia, her work now is better than it's been in a very long time. So
she hasn't injured anyone since she's been.
That's
in November,
and that's something to be proud of. That's impressive.
And you can tell Triple H said something to her when they were hugging.
They hugged for a good 2 minutes.
Got seriously emotional after that.
Yeah,
great transition too to go back to character after that too, just to snap out of it like that.
And
Gunther did the same.
Gunther did the same thing.
Don't tell me what I deserve.
But I think the outcome was the correct one, because as much as they've been pushing Nia Jax, it would have made her look weak if she lost to somebody that at the size of Lyra.
Yeah, it wouldn't have went over well. It wouldn't have worked.
It would have been like, okay, so why were you pushing Nia Jax so much if she's just going to lose to someone half her size?
So. And after we talk about these results, I have the pay-per-view calendar lined out for the rest of the year, because I also want to talk about the champions they're going to face with the new added stipulation as well. So that's interesting that she won, because that shows that she has more storyline coming.
Yeah.
One thing I could see too is seeing they can get probably either world championship. It doesn't have to be specific to their brand. Is seeing we didn't see the Jade Cargill Nia Jax match last week. Really, are they going to make us wait till SummerSlam and then they'll have Jade take the title off of Bayley maybe, so we get that match in SummerSlam?
That I wasn't sure, because Triple H said something like they'll face the champions of their brand, because Gunther later on said he looks forward to facing for the World Heavyweight Championship, or he said I'll be your next World Heavyweight Champion. So my assumption was it's their brand.
Yeah, it's their brand for that. Money in the Bank's the only one that they can go for anyone.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah, I wasn't entirely sure.
Royal Rumble too, obviously. Royal Rumble, they can go towards anyone.
Right. Okay. So that makes more sense. So
Actually,
we had
Jade, I got it messed up. Jade and I are on the same brand now anyway, so that could still work out.
Yeah.
And that's. I mean, their reign. I'm liking seeing those two working together. Back to the tag match. I mean, I think they're getting a lot of really good in-ring chemistry together. So I don't exactly want to see them start feuding just yet. And if anything, I think them being tag champs could be used to elevate the women's tag division and build more teams.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's my hope with it, at least.
I'm just wondering what they're going to do now if Jade is legit injured.
Yeah.
How that's going to, or not Jade, Bianca. Yeah. How they're going to transition that, and Jade being a singles competitor at that point, because she's been good in the tag. We've seen her; she's good on the tag team side. I want to see if she's learned enough to transition that into being a singles competitor.
They could have Naomi team up with her too and just pass the belt to her, because wasn't Chelsea partners with someone else before Piper, I believe, and she'd had Piper take the place of the belt. I forget who it was offhand.
Yeah, there were.
Who was her? I can't remember either.
Was it Sonya Deville, maybe?
Let's see. Wait here. Yeah, it was Sonya Deville.
Yeah. So maybe they could just
when she tore her ACL.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So with Sonya back, I mean,
if that's a thing, if they're allowed to just pick who they want to be their partner now as tag team champions, because that was never a thing back in the day. If somebody was injured, they relinquished the title or they defended it on their own.
The only thing I can think of where they kind of went around that was the New Day using the Freebird rule, but they had 3 members and they weren't giving it to other random people. They were operating as like a team. So
because they never said who the champions were, they always introduced them as tag team champions, the New Day.
Yeah. So oh man, I don't know.
They bring in Naomi as a third, and they're now a trio.
Well, they had that at WrestleMania, so it's like they already have a history. So it's not that random.
Yeah.
I could see it.
I could see that happening.
So we have a new King General, the Ring King General, Gunther. So I don't know how I want to talk about this first. Well, I guess just impressions first of all. How do you feel about that? I mean, to me, that's what I wanted from the beginning, so I'm very happy about it.
That's who I picked. That's who I thought was going to win, regardless. So the outcome was perfect.
That's who I picked, but as soon as I heard it was for a championship match at SummerSlam, I didn't think he was going to win, because then we would have had Randy versus Cody.
Yep.
But this still leads into it, and I think it would be more appropriate for him to have his match at Bash in Berlin instead of SummerSlam, unless they're going to have him go into Bash in Berlin as champion already.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever they changed the stipulation, as much as I wanted Gunther to win it, I thought this was a way that they could shoehorn Orton into a story with Cody, which could be really well done. So I definitely agree there.
But I think doing it that way with Randy, I would like to see that story with Randy and Cody progress naturally.
More
not
organic.
Them force it, like him winning King of the Ring and then they have to feud. I want to see how they want to do that naturally.
And they might be doing that too, because you saw the quick interaction that they had backstage before both of their matches. So they left the door open for that anyway, even with not having him win.
Well, to kind of go into that, we're not entirely sure how the win went. Whenever Orton was pinned, his shoulder was up. I'm going to bring in this video with Triple H actually talking about this. Let me see if I can do this.
I'm joined by the Chief Content Officer of WWE, Paul Triple H Levesque. Triple H, I know it's been a long night for you, so I do appreciate your time. I want to address some controversy at the conclusion of the King of the Ring tournament final between Gunther and Randy Orton. Now, as we all know, Gunther defeated Orton to become King of the Ring, but in reviewing the video footage, it appeared that Orton's shoulder might have been up. Do you have a comment on the situation?
So, live, I was out there. From my vantage point, it was very difficult to see. Was in the ring, handed the crown to Gunther. Very happy for him. Incredible night. What a performance they both put on. Coming back here and seeing it back, look, I saw exactly what you saw. I saw what everybody saw. I saw what everybody is talking about. didn't really even seem controversial to me. It just seemed like Randy Orton's shoulder wasn't down. But I'm going to say this. The referee's decision is final. Gunther is your king of the ring. That being said, especially after what I saw tonight, I certainly want to see that again. I think Randy Orton deserves to have another shot at that. And I think if I know anything about Gunther, he will want to have another shot at that, to take the controversy out, to take the asterisk off of the page where it says King of the Ring for him. I think he will want to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is better than Randy Orton. So I think having seen Randy back here, he's pretty banged up, both his knee and his back. I think it's going to be a moment or two before he is ready to step back into the ring with Gunther. But when he is, let's go.
Thank you for your time.
So interesting that they do that, because again, back to the realism thing we've been seeing, historically, they have not ever recognized with pins like this. They usually just don't say anything. It happens and the fans are like, what? His shoulder was up. And
but the funny thing is, during that pin, I think it was Corey Graves said both of his shoulders are on the mat for the 3 count. And I'm like, oh, nope, only one of them is.
Yeah. So it doesn't sound like they're going to change the result, but it sounds like they might have a match again. I don't know. They wouldn't say anything about it if they weren't going to do something with it.
I wonder if they're still going to give Gunther the King of the Ring, but that title match would still be in contention.
Yeah.
I don't think they should change the result of the King of the Ring. It happened that day. You can't just have another match for it. And I think I'm more than happy to see another match between the two of them, but you also shouldn't take that championship stipulation away from Gunther. But this can open up a beautiful last man standing match or something to that effect.
Or the one thing we talked about earlier that they've been doing a lot of lately, it allows Orton into the match in a triple threat match. Like the new, the new Teddy Long.
Wee! And the loser faces the Undertaker.
So I mean, there's definitely something they could do with that one. And then to end the night, Cody Rhodes going over Logan Paul. I don't think anyone probably thought Cody was going to lose. So. Yeah. An interesting match, though. I mean, they said it several times throughout the match, and I agree. I mean, say what you will about Logan Paul. I find him incredibly annoying. He cheats to win, but he's got great in-ring ability. And I mean, you look back to others like, and I'm not comparing him to Eddie Guerrero in any way, but Eddie was a guy who was tremendously talented in the ring and lie, cheat, steal. So, I mean, Logan may be following that example, but you definitely can't take away from him his in-ring ability. He needs to quit cheating so much.
I didn't expect that match to be as good as it was.
Yeah. In the kickoff show, they kept saying that. They're like, Logan Paul has no reason being as good as he is.
Yeah, exactly. Like when he first came out a couple of years ago in his first match, I was like, okay, he's not bad. But then over the years, like he could be a top guy.
Yeah.
Top heel. And he is. I mean, when he comes to the ring, everyone hates him. So he's doing his job.
Yep.
I think right now, you look at his athletic ability and high flying ability, I think I might even go, I don't know if I'll go as far as the best in the world, but he's one of the best in the business with his athletic and high flying ability right now. The other thing,
he's up there with Ricochet, I think. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing I like too is I think Cody should retire the Crossroads. I'm not a big fan of the move. I think he should use that vertebraker that he used for his finisher.
That's been freaking forbidden move. When he first set it up, but he didn't get to do it. Logan Paul reversed it. When he first did that, I was like, no one's done that since Christian.
Yeah,
it got banned.
Yeah.
Like what, almost 20 years ago.
Yeah,
and when he did it, I almost lost my shit. I jumped up. I was like, no way he's doing that.
Yeah. Cody has too many stored finishers. I think he needs to simplify a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even though it's a banned move, you can still bring it in. Like if you go way back to the Undertaker's triangle choke, they were arguing that was a bad move for a while, and they ended up allowing him to use it when it was all said and done.
Yep.
Yeah. It was, but the match, I mean, just, oh man, it was good. It was I didn't have the highest of expectations for it, but it really delivered. Like, that was a really well done match. But like we said, the part we talked about in the beginning, I loved Michael Cole mouthing off to Logan Paul. He said something like, "You're a loser" or something. I was like, bro,
Yeah,
he's gonna kill you.
yeah, he's gonna kill you. He's like, you're a loser. Like, the commentating has been so on point lately, just like when Pat McAfee on Monday, when Dom walked over to the Prime cart they had set up, he's like, "That's the hydration station, and we hope you're dehydrated." I'm like, I like started cracking up. I was like, the commentating is just on point lately.
Yeah, and Pat's tremendous. I like Michael Cole and Corey Graves together. They work really well together. I was really hoping that was going to set up something with Corey Graves and him. But yeah, to go back to the match, the drone shot again. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah, when he went around him, he took a sip of the Prime. That was just like the perfect shot.
Just incredible. I mean, visually, the product is better than it's been in years. I mean, they're from the backstage shots. They may be kind of overdoing a bit now, but the camera work in the ring. I mean, it's so good right now. I'm loving it.
Yeah, the 4K camera they actually have when they're doing ring introductions in the big matches, that looks phenomenal.
Yep.
So yeah, I was impressed by that during the main event. I was like, oh, they're getting a lot better.
Does Netflix have a 4K option? I can't remember.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they've had it for years. That's why I pay $30 a month for Netflix.
Okay.
And then the other thing we got to remember is like, 'cause when we get it on Peacock as opposed to Fox or USA, it's so much clearer on the streaming models. So now once we go to Netflix next year, we're going to get all the Raw like that and all the PLEs.
Because your local cable like Spectrum, Comcast, all that, they can only broadcast in most of the time 1080p.
Yeah.
So now that they're going to go to 4K, it's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I will have to check into Netflix 4K though, because we have 4K TVs in all our rooms and stuff. So I might have to look into that.
One thing too, seeing we're on this topic of Netflix too, I don't want to really cross promotion too much, but
are we going to talk about tires? Okay.
Yeah, MJF is staying with AEW, and I think a big reason why is because I know we're not in the PG era, but in my opinion, there's still a lot of PG stuff going on. Until they've gone to Netflix and proven that they're going to go outside that boundary, I think that's going to deter a lot of guys, especially like him, because a lot of stuff that he does would not work with the so-called WWE scene with that PG stuff. Because Triple H said it in the past on Pat McAfee show, just because he's successful in that world doesn't mean he'll be successful in this world. Like, you look at other people on there, Timeless Tony Storm, there's a lot of stuff that she could not do in WWE that she's allowed to do on there.
When they held the towel up and she got naked, it was like, that would not go on WWE, because the fans are completely different sides of wrestling between the two.
Yep. Indie fans are a lot different from mainstream fans, and I'd argue a good chunk of the AEW audience is probably indie fans. So
indie and NJPW, Ring of Honor, GCW, which I hate the blood sport type matches.
Yeah, those death matches with Matt Cardona. Oh man, it's crazy stuff. It's interesting though. When I was watching that last night, it made me think for a second, because when MJF showed up, obviously that means that he's probably renewed his contract. But the things that he did, the direct shots at WWE, him mentioning Vince McMahon, but also his attire was the same as what Triple H wore when he came back from injury forever ago. So it makes me wonder if the shots he was taking at WWE was because perhaps they did have a contract negotiation and it didn't go well, or he didn't get what he wanted, and that's why he did it. I don't know.
He took a shot at New Japan though too. So I think it was just the rhyming of the two of them played off that way, and it was more of a shot at Adam Cole too. I think more than anything.
Yeah. Because him and Adam Cole are now going to finally have that feud, because when MJF left with that feud with Adam Cole, when Adam Cole like turned his back on him, I think that's going to be great.
So obviously we're not getting MJF.
Nope.
But I mean, maybe we have to wait.
Years.
Yeah. See how Netflix goes, and if Netflix becomes the adult WWE, then it'll happen. Like, it's gonna happen. He wants to be there.
He's one of those guys that's going to celebrate being able to curse.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, F this, F that, F everything, F you. And that's going to be his character, because that's how you can tell that's how he wants to be, because that's how he is. If you ever watch videos of him cutting promos in indies and stuff, he doesn't shy away from cursing.
No.
Look at when we had The Rock right before WrestleMania, when he's saying to Cody, like, F your story. This is what happens when you F with the final boss. We didn't get to hear most of it because of the network it's on. And even they could get away with that, but they don't want to up their rating because we've seen with other wrestling shows, they still air it.
But even freaking Cody, when he told The Rock he had little dick energy, and they did not censor that, I was like, "Are you serious?"
That was funny. Oh man, and I don't know how they got away with that, but yeah, when The Rock was around, everybody, it was bitch this, bitch that, and I mean, oh man, it was crazy. They're not doing it anymore though. Since The Rock left, I haven't seen any of that.
Well, like CM Punk, when he called Drew McIntyre son of a bitch, they're since The Rock's left after Mania, they toned it down a little bit. You can still tell it's there a little, and just not as much as The Rock.
One thing is The Rock might be willing to pay the fines for himself saying that, but not pay the fines for someone else saying that. That's the other thing we got to keep in mind.
Wouldn't that be awesome? I'm going to cuss on this show and I'll pay for it, but you don't have enough money.
Yeah, The Rock's like, I'm going to curse. What are you going to do? Fire me? I mean,
you're not the final boss.
Yeah.
So speaking of CM Punk, good segue. Yeah. So I wanted to throw up the pay-per-view calendar for the rest of the year with what we have. Clash at the Castle in June, Money in the Bank in July, SummerSlam in August, Bash at Berlin in August, Crown Jewel announced for November, Survivor Series not announced yet. So far what we know for sure, Priest and McIntyre will face off for the World Heavyweight Championship at Clash. And then at SummerSlam, Nia Jax takes on the Women's World Champ or the WWE Women's Champion, whoever that is at the time. And Gunther takes on the World Heavyweight Champion. And this is prior to Bash at Berlin. So what threads do we see weaving around in these with the storylines, with the titles?
Oh, with McIntyre, it's really tough because seeing what happened last time we had Clash at the Castle, it's tough for me to not see him winning that championship. But the other time, everyone wants the CM Punk match, so could CM Punk cost him that? And we segued into SummerSlam because we know that's not going to happen at Money in the Bank.
Yeah. See, CM Punk's going to turn on. They're going to come out, or not turn on. He's going to come out and cost McIntyre that match, guaranteed.
I'm trying to think of who I want to see Gunther face at SummerSlam. That's the main thing that I'm looking at. I think him and McIntyre would have a better match than him and CM Punk or him and Priest. It's the main reason I would like to see McIntyre win at Clash is because I think him and Gunther would have a better match. In ring wise.
Another thing is Gunther, if he wins the championship at SummerSlam, we could have Dragunov versus Gunther at Bash in Berlin too.
Yeah.
If he's champion.
It's so hard to tell.
Push him that fast though.
But are we really going to see Gunther lose? He has a world heavyweight opportunity. Like, do we see him losing? I mean,
not right now. He's the best tactical wrestler in the business right now.
Yeah. But now that we're seeing the rematch clause, I mean, he wins at SummerSlam, faces whoever he faced at SummerSlam at Bash in Berlin.
But at Bash, it would have to be Dragunov. I mean, if he wins and goes on to Bash, it has to be Dragunov. I can't see anyone else.
They're using Drew McIntyre's rematch clause from WrestleMania. They waited until Clash, so they don't. Even though that rematch clause is in there, they don't have to do it right away because they specifically reference that, and that's how he got the match because he never got his rematch from then.
But I mean, does everyone have a rematch clause? I don't know. I'm curious now that they're starting to weave this back in.
It's only when it's convenient for the storyline.
I think so too. That's really how they're going to do it. Because if it's every time, we're just going to expect it. We're going to be like, okay, this person lost it at this pay-per-view. They're going to face them again tomorrow on Raw or at the next pay-per-view.
Because if anyone has a rematch clause, the Tribal Chief should have a rematch clause. If anyone has one.
No.
So I don't know.
Another thing is too is we go back way back, like not too far back, but even like a decade back, we had John Cena versus Randy Orton just handing each other the belt for a while, and
Yep.
like we've shied away from that, just having like five straight PLEs where guys go against each other. I know we had it last year with Cody and Brock a little bit. That wasn't for a championship, so
And
I
then
don't.
before
I don't.
that, it was Roman and Brock.
Yep, I don't think we're really gonna. I think they're shying away from that. I don't think we're gonna see that anymore. Personally, myself.
I hope not.
I mean, if Gunther doesn't win the belt at SummerSlam, it would be, I don't know.
But the thing I think about, and people have brought it up in other interviews and in videos and stuff like that, is you got to think about business wise though. Do you see the average fan buying a ticket to go see Gunther?
No. I mean,
Then-
I would, but no.
Yeah, that's why I don't think they're going to give him the title right now, because you need the face of your company, the champion, to be able to sell tickets and be able to sell out arenas. And I don't think Gunther's that person.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the World Heavyweight Championship,
Yeah,
though.
it's
It's
not
not
the face
really
of the
the main
company
title.
championship,
So maybe that's why he would have that one versus the WWE title.
But they're trying to push Raw to be the main show again, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I have. I want to see Gunther win a title. I do. I want to see him win the World Heavyweight title, but I have that in the back of my mind.
No, it makes
holding me
sense.
back.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Like, yeah, I understand that.
Another thing is too is you could easily switch the titles, say at SummerSlam. If you like, I know we have the matches set for King and Queen of the Ring, but say we reverse what Gunther, the result we had where it changes up the stipulation for SummerSlam, you could have a cross-brand Universal Championship match and not World Heavyweight Championship match, and then have whoever wins Money in the Bank cash in. You could have the two titles flip brands like that.
I know that's the interesting caveat to all this, is that Money in the Bank is coming up. So you could have somebody cash in before SummerSlam to change what those matches are going to be. Somebody cashes in at SummerSlam, meaning that Gunther could win his title at SummerSlam and have that moment, but he's exhausted and someone else cashes in and takes it from him the same night.
Yeah.
Dragunov. I mean, I'm just trying to shoehorn him in some. I just want him in somewhere. Because I've been watching, I don't know if you guys see it, but like I watch a lot of the chat threads and stuff like that. And a lot of casual fans who don't watch NXT, who have no idea who Dragunov, like him. Like he's being responded to really well by people who have no idea who he is.
Casual fans see him and they like him. And I was happy because I'm a huge Ilya Dragunov fan.
Yeah. So he's one that you know, could win as well. Tentatively, he's my pick to win Money in the Bank. I mean, there's no one else. I still think
it's going to be Jey Uso.
You know, and that's another thing. I don't know what they're going to do with Jey Uso. It's like they've given him so many shots to do so many things at this point, and they're not letting him do any of them. So
I think they're just buying time for Jimmy to come back so they can progress that side of the bloodline.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing they're doing with him right now. They're just buying their time because they probably would have already started that side of the bloodline story if Jimmy didn't get injured.
And that's another point is where are we going with the bloodline story now? Because I mean, they kind of fizzled out at after King of the Ring.
Yeah, I'm kind of like they need to do something with that, just like they need to do something with the Bray or the Bo Dallas stuff, because it's starting to fizzle out where people are going to stop caring.
I don't think he's coming till Money in the Bank. It's the first QR code. You go to it. You look at the picture from it. It says, you go to the website. It says July 6th right on it. I don't think we're seeing it before Money in the Bank.
There was in the code from this weekend, somebody said that there was a date for 6/17, which is the Raw after.
It's Ramius. It's the day he feasts after.
There was another code that came out today too.
17th, I think.
Oh, it came out today?
Yeah, I was playing 2K.
Oh, so it's going to be on Raw tonight?
No, there was one on 2K. I was playing the game this morning, and they put a promo code on that. First time they've done it.
In 2K?
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Yep. So they're starting to branch out a little bit.
Was it in the during the intro for the game, or was it during one of your matches?
No, like in the game, like in like the title screens and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna be like, if it was in the middle of one of your matches, I'm going down right now to play this.
Yeah, that would have been wild. So they're kind of getting more experimental with it. But I mean, I think a lot of people are just getting fatigued with it because everybody at this point knows what it is. Everybody's figured out who's in the stable. It's not really a mystery anymore. So it's becoming Vera's coming at this point. Like,
yeah,
they need to do something with it.
Yep. And I don't think fans are willing to wait till Money in the Bank. I think it needs to happen sooner because that's already over a month away.
Or just do something on TV. Just have one of the members in the stands or something. Just give some people something tangible that they can actually see.
Yep.
Because people are going to get bored. They're not going to care when it happens.
Like somebody tried to say during one of the venue vignettes that they do during commercial breaks or before Raw happens or SmackDown, when the song was playing, that Uncle Howdy was on the floor between two of the sections. They were like, "Oh, look at Uncle Howdy!" It was like everyone was like, "That's a security guard."
I thought originally they were gonna do like a state, like release each member in stages, like bring out one at each PLE. But I think they've that's came and gone. We've only got one before Money in the Bank, so I don't see that happening.
Because this whole Dreadmare thing on YouTube started before WrestleMania,
and that's the thing that they said for the longest time, like, this isn't associated with WWE, and they put it in the comments, but a lot of people have said, but is it? Could it be associated with them? And just WWE is saying that? Like, nobody knows.
So they need to really start doing something, because I know Triple H said we're going to get back into long-term storytelling.
Yeah.
But some of these need to happen.
And the thing is, long-term storytelling is great, but he also has to remember, like, the biggest social media platforms, people are only successful if their videos are shorter than 90 seconds. Like, people don't have the attention spans anymore.
The other thing too is I'm wondering if some of these people aren't ready for in-ring competition and they're still developing them. So maybe they have to keep pushing it off because not everyone's ready to go. Because even the people that are still signed to the roster that are supposedly supposed to be in this, they haven't wrestled for a while.
Yeah, they even said somebody said that Rowan was at the Performance Center last week training, getting ready. So
yeah, exactly. I have a photo I'll share. There it is.
Oh, snap.
Oh, hold up.
Now I'm like, all right, I'm taking a picture of that one.
Yeah.
Have to give some credit. I pulled that one from a post on Reddit. But yeah, that was a QR code put into the game, which we had talked about before. Like, it would be interesting to see if they do that and they post it in other medias, like, social media, video games. They don't really do a WWE magazine. Oh, I don't think they do.
No, they don't. They discontinued that a long time. Wow. Now you can say you're old. Holy
I know.
crap. No one's been WWE.
They got a locker. They got a locker code on it. Have you typed in the locker code yet?
No, I haven't yet.
I'm gonna go.
It's like he remembers or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that downstairs because my Xbox is downstairs. So.
Well, then you need a console in every room. That's what I do. I can go to different ones. Come on. So I think at this point it's crap or get off the pot. I mean, you have to do something, and because people are they're not going to care, and this is going to go over about as well as like a hot fart. Like,
yeah.
And hopefully it's done well. I mean, the members that have been clearly announced that are going to be in this thing, I think, are perfect. I mean, Dexter Lumis is my favorite pick for this stable because he is just perfectly menacing, and I think he's going to be great. Joe Gacy, I think,
same thing. Menacing,
incredible.
Is hell.
Nikki Cross. I mean, they're really doing this the right way, I think. And
I was watching it last night, and I watched this video like probably a couple times, but I didn't notice that there was one video 3 weeks ago that literally, if you pause it at the right time, that shows a silhouette of Rowan, because you can tell by the bald head and the beard.
Yeah.
And then in the same second, it glitches again and it shows Braun on the ring apron with his goat mask on.
I'd be interested to see if Braun does anything with it. My main thought was that Braun wouldn't be included just because he's good as a solo performer, and I don't feel like he needs that. It feels like a lot of the people they're including in the stable, and it goes back to a lot of the marketing they're doing, as they keep mentioning people being forgotten. So a lot of these performers are people that they haven't done much with on the main roster. Bo Dallas as well. I mean, towards the end of his tenure, they were doing F-all with him. So I think that's a good angle that they're going at with this one, is performers that have been wasted.
And people are saying that part of the whole like written notes and all that stuff, when it was mentioned, remember who your family is or remember where you came from type thing, is directed at Braun.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Because you saw it in the Fiend match at WrestleMania a couple years ago, where Braun put the mask on to pretty much psych out the Fiend. So you never know.
I mean, what else are they doing with Braun right now anyway? I mean,
after he came back, nothing.
Other than being Andre the Giant, there's not much that they really have going for him.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's got a big match.
The truth is going to come out.
JD McDonough tonight.
Oh, yeah. And the truth is going to come out and be like, holy crap, Andre the Giant.
I love them having the tag belts, because the more R-Truth I have on my TV, the happier I am.
Oh, yeah. As soon as I see him on the screen, I'm like, yes, this is going to be great.
It's what I loved about the 24/7 championship, was that you got a lot of R-Truth.
Yep.
His record-setting 800 reigns with the title.
He's like a 57-time champion or something like that.
Of the I-95 belt.
The 7-Eleven I-95 South.
Let's see how many. Let's see, most reigns. I'm trying to find it.
R-Truth has 53.
Good Lord!
Wow.
So he's past his childhood idol of John Cena in how many championship belts he's had.
That is still one of the greatest. It's like every time it's like, dude, you're older than Cena.
And he looks good for his age. Like, when I get to be that old, I hope I look half that good. Like, he does it very well. He's very in shape.
53-time 24/7 champion.
I mean, I don't think they ever should have got rid of that belt. I mean, it looked horrible. I mean, it looked like something you get out of a Happy Meal, but it made for interesting TV. It was like
a little bit comical for me, seeing him run and everyone chasing him like around the ring during a match and all that. It just got a little distracting to me. At the beginning, I thought it was great. I thought it was going to be like a new hardcore champion type thing when freaking Mick Foley unveiled the belt.
It was almost like a lot of those segments you could put the Benny Hinn music on whenever he was running around, because it was just so funny watching everybody like chasing each other.
Oh, I used to watch Benny Hill on on Comedy Central when I was a kid.
Yep. In other news, on the Old Man Show. Yeah, when you were talking about Netflix earlier, I thought you were going to talk about the new show on Netflix called Tires, which I've been obsessed with. So,
is it good?
If you like shows like Arrested Development, Parks and Rec, The Office, shows like that, it's like that, but way more vulgar.
And Shane Gillis, I'm in love with him as a comedian right now.
He's the highlight of that show. He's a secondary character, but he's like becomes the main character with how good he is.
I watched a clip on TikTok about him talking about drinking beers at work. He's like 5'6". It was great.
Yeah.
I was like,
I guess it relates because WWE is about to be on Netflix. They didn't pay us to talk up Netflix, but there hadn't been a lot of new shows lately, and that one came out. It got renewed for a second season before it even released. That's how good it is. It's only like 6 episodes. You can knock it out in a day.
I've been hooked on White Collar on Netflix.
Okay, I'll check that out. I've been trying to find some new stuff to watch. So
it's an FBI show where they bring in an informant who's ex-con.
Oh, okay. So it could be kind of like Blacklist or something like that, maybe?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll check that out. So, fans of WWE, go watch Tires on Netflix, because if you don't have a membership there yet, you're going to need one soon. I know I think it's been posted before, but I think everything's going to USA. I think SmackDown
in September.
In September. So both shows are going to be there.
I thought NXT was going to CW.
NXT is about to go to CW in October, I believe.
Yeah, I think everything's changing October, not September. Sorry.
Yeah. So NXT will be over there with NWA, which Mike, I think we talked about before. Actually, we've been talking about how cool it would be to see some NWA WWE crossovers. So with them sharing a network, hopefully that's going to open up some of those doors.
One thing I'd like to see for a Survivor Series sometimes is if AEW and WWE ever get on the same page, or just even another promotion, just do 2 different promotions for Survivor Series.
They have the partnership with TNA.
Yeah.
Oh, I could put together a Survivor Series with TNA talent. Oh man,
and I think cool. a cross promotion with NWA would be great. Nick Aldis was their champion for a long time.
Yeah.
I like that NWA is doing the territories again. We have a promotion here in Arkansas that I know is trying to get territory status with the NWA. So it's pretty exciting to see that. And their next pay-per-view is like Back to the Territories or something like that. And it's a territory promotion with all the territories coming in. So I think that's really cool. And EC3 is there. I mean, I definitely think there's an olive branch they could extend to WWE and have some of their talent in the Royal Rumble. I think would be really
EC3.
cool.
What happened to EC1 and EC2? That was the greatest promotion that Dean Ambrose ever did with anyone.
That's an interesting question I have. I know you guys are familiar with other promotions as well, and I saw this on the forum today, and somebody said something like, I will put Dean Ambrose over Jon Moxley any day of the week.
100%.
Yeah.
I think Dean Ambrose was a fascinating character. I think it was a horrible mistake letting him go, honestly.
Parts of his character was actually kind of funny during the when him and Roman were still friends and they were getting ready to face each other for the title, and they were like, what are you going to do on Sunday? He's like, I'm going to punch Roman in the mouth. I was like, all right, cool. He was actually kind of funny. Now he's like too serious. And he got put into that category of those blood sport matches for so long, like with Nick Cage and all that stuff. It was like, come on, dude, you're more than that.
Yep.
Yeah, like with how we had Roman hit Seth with the chair at WrestleMania, and he took that over, winning the championship. There's so many ways you could play that Shield storyline and going forward if you had him there for all 3 of them. It's just maybe he'll come over in the future. Who knows? Based off what I've seen so far, I don't think so, but it would just open up so much to have him going forward.
I think if he came over, he would be a lot like a Shawn Spears. I think he likes his Mox character, and I think that's probably who he'd come back as.
But like you said before, Triple H said that talent from other companies and fan bases don't always translate into WWE. It looked like it worked the same way with Jon Moxley. Luckily, he found something that he could do in the short term to be the first 2-time AEW champion and win that championship, but he's died off since then.
Yep.
And that character didn't translate.
Yeah, so that would be interesting. I definitely think he'll come back at some point, though. I mean,
100%.
It's like I still think Edge will come back at some point. I think he'll finish his career in WWE. I still think the Hardys will come back and finish their career in WWE. So a lot of them are going off and having fun in AEW, but I think a lot of the main talents who are like big parts of WWE history will come back and finish their runs there. Probably before going into the Hall of Fame would be my guess. Have a run and then finish up. But I think a lot of the people who are off doing other things, I definitely think a lot of them will come back home.
There was a guy in one of my one of the wrestling belt collector groups on Facebook, met John Cena over the weekend, took pictures with him, and he said that he was talking to him for a couple minutes, and Cena said that he's going to come back for one more run, and that he said it's probably going to be the most fun, most entertaining that he's had in his career when he comes back.
I watched a lot of John Cena. He was my my childhood hero as well. No, not really. I was an adult when I was watching him, but my favorite thing that John Cena has probably ever done in his career, and I love the Doctor of Thugonomics, but like that, what he did with Bray Wyatt in the pandemic era was just, God, so good.
That Firefly Funhouse match they did pretty much last minute. They were setting it up like they said a week or two before, and that was the first cinematic match of the pandemic.
Yeah, and
that led to AEW doing cinematic matches, and then WWE doing more. That led to Undertaker and AJ Styles, them doing that match at that pay-per-view. It was like actually really good.
Another question. I know you guys have watched the AEW event, and to kind of reference them with WWE, do you ever think we'll see something akin to an Anarchy in the Arena match in WWE?
No. We've seen them in the past, like no disqualification Survivor Series styles matches, but falls count anywhere matches. So it's not anything different, but not to that extent.
I've never seen a flamethrower.
No. I'm going to watch that. I'm finally going to sit down and watch that after this. I'm going to make lasagna and watch Double or Nothing from last night. So
it's I think it's interesting. I mean, it's something different. And I mean, WWE is getting more experimental lately, and in ways going back to the roots and stuff like that. So I would like to see more stuff, because I know because for a long time it's been just like in the ring stuff. You don't really get backstage stuff. You don't get hardcore stuff, but they're expanding lately and doing like the underground matches, which are different. So I'm really hoping that we're going to see more expansion of that and see different types of matches than we did before. We're seeing cage matches again, which is cool. I'd love to see more Hell in a Cell matches. So I'm hoping that Triple H is going to start to diversify the match types we're seeing beyond just singles matches and triple threat matches.
Did I, correct me if I'm wrong, did they say that they're going to do away with Hell in a Cell, the pay-per-view, and actually have those matches randomly at other events?
I don't see it on the calendar for this year, and I haven't heard there's an event scheduled. So
yeah, when you posted it and I looked it up too, is I don't see pay-per-views for September and October.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It'll probably be one because we haven't had a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view since the Cody Seth Rollins match. I think it'll be one we'll see like once every 3 years or so, like how we saw Fastlane randomly brought up again.
Wasn't Edge and
no, I'm talking about the pay-per-view specifically.
Oh, the pay-per-view itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell in a Cell 2022 was in June. Hell in a Cell.
We had Edge versus Finn Balor.
Let's see. It's been in October every year, except for 2018. It was in September. 2021 it was in June. 2022 it was in June. But other than that, it's been 2022 every year. It says here it was discontinued in place of Night of Champions.
Oh.
Then that would have been King and Queen of the Ring this year.
Right.
Because that's what replaced Night of Champions.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't see a point of building an entire pay-per-view around a Hell in a Cell match. That's what I liked about Extreme Rules and stuff like that, is they would have different types of extreme matches in the pay-per-view. So the name worked, but just having a Hell in a Cell match in a pay-per-view didn't make much sense. It's kind of like tables, ladders, and chairs. That can work, but it can get kind of redundant. So that's something, Hell in a Cell, TLC, those just need to be matches they have placed in pay-per-views.
Yep.
We haven't even had an Extreme Rules since 2022 either. I think that's one that should be every year, personally, myself.
I think we can do it now. In the Vince era, it was more challenging because things weren't as hardcore and it was very PG, but now I definitely think we could do it.
And the no bleeding rule that they had with Extreme Rules, it was hard for people to not bleed getting hit with aluminum trash cans.
Oh yeah, Extreme Rules 2022. I was wondering.
That's when Bray Wyatt came out.
He came back. Yep, I knew there was a reason I was thinking of that one.
Cookie sheets.
Yeah. We haven't seen the fight pit since then either. I don't think.
No. Nope.
Another match we haven't seen in a good while is a classic, going back to the days of the territories, wrestling in tents, carnivals. A very traditional match is the classic Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. One of the oldest matches in the history of professional wrestling with a storied history. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was really good. It got a lot of hate, but I thought it was a really cool match. So I would like to see more cross promotion. Like, there's no reason they couldn't have a Prime ice pop match, or that'd probably be stupid, but more cross promotion would be cool. I didn't see the Prime logo on the mat, unless I was missing it because
it wasn't there.
Okay, I was listening more than watching, but I didn't think I saw that either.
There was no hydration station either.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
They wanted everyone to be dehydrated.
Unacceptable.
My guess is it had something to do with the Saudis, though. I think we'll see it right back again at Clash at the Castle.
Yeah.
Well, I guess before we wrap up, we've kind of talked about where we're going from here, what's upcoming, pay-per-views and stuff like that. We've talked about main titles. The main ones we haven't really discussed is the U.S. title. Do we see anything happening with that before the end of the year? Any storylines they can do with it?
I don't know what they can do with Logan Paul, because I mean, they just seem to like throw him in wherever.
Yeah.
Like I didn't expect him to have a world title match or undisputed title match at freaking King of the Ring.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, all these other belts have very clear ways they can go with them. Bayley's belt, I mean, Nia Jax is in the running for that. So, I mean, that has something going for it. The women with Becky and Liv and Mommy coming back at some point. The IC title with Chad Gable. But that U.S. belt, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like – and I think it's because it doesn't have any presence on TV. That's why there's no one gunning for it, because it's never there. Most times I forget it exists. So
Ilya Dragunov versus Logan Paul. Ilya wins the title. That I could see that, but Dragunov's on.
Yeah, we would have to switch the Intercontinental Championship.
I just thought of that. We can all hope.
Yeah, that'll be a challenge. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that one. So, what do we think tonight? Raw is tonight. Any expectations? Any hopes?
I hope we crack on some new storylines right away, and then I hope we see something big happen with Chad and Otis.
So what we're seeing so far is Braun Strowman versus JD McDonough and Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch are the only matches that are for sure scheduled tonight.
I can see them pivoting from that women's match too and holding it off.
Yeah.
I think they need to progress that story with Dom and Liv. So I think that match is still going to happen, and we're going to see more with Dom aligning with Liv, coming out and saying that he, helped Liv or distracted Becky to help Liv win the title the other night.
What's our expectation for the duration of Braun Strowman's match with JD McDonough?
Over 35 seconds. I'm going to go under.
Yeah.
I think he might just drag it out and just show full display of his physicality. Put on a clinic.
Yep.
Get some forehead shots in.
I don't know why I'm the only one that once he runs the ropes and does the spear, I'm expecting to see a jackhammer.
Oh, he's so cool.
I don't know why. When I saw that on Monday, I was like, I don't know why I want to see him do the jackknife right now. It feels kind of like Goldberg did when I was watching him live back in the 90s when he was on that large win streak with WCW. His matches were squashes, spear, jackknife, done.
One thing when we were speaking of the Judgment Day, remind me when I did it to the Uncle Howdy connection, I forgot too, with Finn Balor coming out of the Jeep with Liv Morgan, with them being the puppeteer and doing that stuff, could they bring back the Demon too and have him be like that? That's one thing I forgot to mention earlier when I was talking.
Yeah, I thought about that too. I was like, that would be cool.
Because the Demon, I mean, it seems like that's a losing gimmick at this point. I mean, the Demon has faced Bray Wyatt. I mean, at SummerSlam once. So I mean,
and Edge too.
Yeah,
but I think at that point back then, when he was the last time he did the Demon, when somebody was asking him about it, he was like, "I don't think I'll ever do the Demon again." He was like, "Because the Demon I'm already the Demon." Yeah. So he was like, it lives inside me. I don't need to bring that out all the time. And he's like, I probably never do it again type thing. I can't remember. I'm paraphrasing, but.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would love to see it though. I love Demon Finn.
It would be a good way to come back. I just think it would have to be done in a major way. So I would like to see it because the Demon was always so exciting, and then I think maybe they just started to where they were doing it a lot, or it felt like they were doing it a lot, and that's why. I don't know, but I feel like it's something that could be done if they did it the right way. So there's maybe against Uncle Howdy, the greatest name in the history.
I still don't think it's going to be Uncle Howdy. They're going to have a new character for Bo Dallas.
God, I hope so. Oh,
because
man, I hope so.
The way they had the Uncle Howdy mask when he was Uncle Howdy didn't have any like cutouts for him to talk. He never talked, never anything. So I think it's going to be more of like a cult type thing where, you know, they're like, oh, the fiend lives within all of us. We're, you know, worshiping, kind of like worshiping the fiend type thing. And we're going to, you know, circle around that.
The only time he talked is when he kidnapped LA Knight, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, I think it was like maybe once. It wasn't very common. Yeah. There was that one part where he said like something, "I'm your Uncle Howdy" or something like that. There wasn't much, and it was probably not even his real voice. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when he was on the when they had him come up on the big screen there during when Bray was out in the rig. Yep. Okay. Yep, I know.
Said like, "You'll never forget me," or "You can't dismiss me," or "I'm always
you can't escape me," or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So it's a shame they didn't get to build more off of that storyline, because now it's going to remain to be seen if they're going to build a completely new storyline or if they're going to allude to that previous storyline with him back then or not. I don't know. I think at this point everybody expects that to be the character though, which is unfortunate because you can't get Uncle Howdy over no matter how hard you try. That is some backwoods stuff with a silly name. Bray, you know, even if that was his idea, every now and then they're not all golden eggs. So
we're gonna see Ellsworth come back. I saw the shirt and I'm like, good Lord, the chin.
I saw that today. Somebody was talking about how good SmackDown was back in the day, and they posted a picture of Ellsworth, and I had to go and I had to dig this one out because it's probably been since 2018 that I've worn this shirt. So
Ellsworth in the Wyatt 6 confirmed. You heard it here first.
He is the chin that gets the win.
That's going to go as far as me wanting to see Shawn Michaels and Otis feud.
They missed the opportunity to draft him. I don't know how nobody wanted to draft the Heartbreak Kid. How do you not draft Shawn Michaels?
That's first round pick.
Imagine he shows up. It's like when you get transferred to a store you don't want to work at. Like Shawn Michaels shows up on Raw and they're like, "Hey, you got a match with Gunther tonight." And he's like, "I'm not even supposed to be here today."
Yeah, I don't even go here. Yeah, like Clerks. I'm not even supposed to be here today.
That would have been such a great storyline. So I guess that's I guess we'll wrap up. We're getting pretty late today. But all in all, it was an awesome week. I'm excited. I think it was a great week. Storylines are building. We've still got pay-per-views left to come. I mean, so much to happen. Oh, I have another thing. Sorry, guys. We're going to go a little bit over. What do we think is going to happen with Tiffany Stratton next? That was the other note I had.
I don't think anything's going to happen from the Twitter thing. So no, I'm still thinking she's going to be pushed in to win Money in the Bank.
Yeah, she'll definitely be in the match, even if she doesn't win, I'm sure, because high flying ability like that, they're going to want that in the ladder match.
Yep.
And everybody wants Chelsea Green to win it, so
I want to see the prettiest moonsault ever
off the ladder.
Yep. Off the ladder, in the ring, to the outside, through a table.
I'm sure we're going to see a match between Piper Niven and Bayley, too, after what happened on Friday.
Yeah.
That'll probably be after or that might be Clash of the Castle.
Yeah. True. I didn't
think
that.
Duh, because that would make sense. I don't know why I didn't think of that.
Becky's from the island, so.
Where is Piper Niven's UK, isn't she? Where's she from? Oh no, she's Scottish.
That's right. Yeah, that's probably why they had her attack Becky.
Yeah, she says she was born in Scotland, so yeah, that would set up that totally makes sense now. Yeah, there's the triple threat match for Clash at the Castle.
Well, who do you think will be the third one in that?
Liv, Becky,
Liv,
Piper.
Becky, and Piper.
Oh, but I was saying Bailey and Piper.
Okay, so Bailey, Piper, and The Undertaker.
Yeah. I want to see Piper get a push for a title match.
I mean, at some point you
Bailey.
want to split up Piper and Chelsea, so somehow maybe work them into it. Piper, Chelsea, Bailey.
I don't think there's how many women's tag teams are there? Can they afford to split up Chelsea and
2.
Piper? Yeah. They can't afford to split up Piper and Chelsea right now.
Chelsea and
Especially
Piper,
if Bianca gets hurt.
Katana and Kaden,
Indy
Hartwell, and
Bianca and Jade.
and the redheaded witches. So like 5.
If Bianca's legit injured and they have to drop the titles, the only people that I think could carry them are Chelsea and Piper.
Currently, yeah.
Or Bianca and Jade.
Yeah, currently that's probably the only tag team that could carry it. Yeah.
Yep.
Unless you want to drop the belts down to NXT entirely.
Which would make sense. I mean, there's a lot of great talent down there. I could see it.
Or Jade coming back.
Yeah.
Have her team with someone.
Maxine and Ivy.
Yep.
Yeah. That's where I could see something like that going.
Even
So,
Shane.
6
Isn't Shane and Zoe got a match coming up too?
at Underground, yeah. Or not Underground, Battleground.
No. Shane and Zoe, didn't they get the #1 contendership for the tag things on Raw?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
So maybe they could take
Shayna
it
is
too.
all over the place. She's hard to keep up with. Because Shayna's over in NXT and Raw, and it's like, good God, I can't keep up with everywhere you are.
Like Natalia.
Yeah, Shayna and Zoe, #1 contender. So, I mean, they could probably do a soft match with Bianca and Jade if Bianca's injured, and then drop the titles to Shayna and Zoe.
Yeah.
You could just do like Hogan did the poke.
When is the Rock's WCW thing? That's coming out soon. isn't
That's
it?
June 4th, I think.
Okay.
The death of WCW.
Yeah. Let's see. It's with his company. Yeah, June 4th. Okay. Oh, it's a series. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was going to be like a one-off film. Okay, good.
Well, while we're on that too, I think the YouTube thing that they were having come out, the WrestleMania documentary there.
That's never happening.
Veer is coming.
I think A&E wanted. I don't know this for a fact, but I think A&E wants, and I think you're going to see that put around SummerSlam, like the week before, like how they did the Roman Reigns documentary. I think that's not going to be on YouTube. I think that we'll see that on actual TV. It's too big of a production for them just to air on YouTube. I think
because originally, they said it was going to be like just a small thing, but then they didn't release it when they said because they recorded too much footage and it's going to be bigger than they thought it was going to be. So I can see that.
Yeah, it was originally a 20-minute runtime, and they said it's going to go up to around 60 minutes now.
Yep.
Coincidentally, I'm going to go after this watch last night the Eddie Guerrero documentary came out. I'm looking forward to seeing that one. So that's on my to-do list today while you go play 2K and check out the QR code.
And watch Double or Nothing.
Yeah,
I can finally sit down and watch that.
Catch up on everything. And then also on my to-watch list, the NWA documentary or series, the reality show is out now on the CW app. The backstage documentary with Billy Corgan about running NWA and his personal life, that's out now.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Adventures in Carneyland. So another thing to watch. So it looks like it's going to be a normal week. Not much going on right now. A couple weeks to build up to Clash. So this week will probably be the normal shows. And I guess just firming up those storylines going into Clash at the Castle. Only one match so far announced. So, I mean, they're going to have to put some stuff together. So I'm hoping for a good week and some good stories to come. So let's hope it's a good week. I'm excited.
I think we're going to see a lot of people who haven't had screen time the past 3 weeks because of the tournaments going on. I think we're going to see them used a lot more in the next upcoming 3 weeks to make up for that time off.
Yeah, we did come out of the draft right into tournaments. So I think there's some people that they could be putting back out there. We could finally be seeing something happen with Dragunov and whatever story they're going to build around him. So,
like they've cut promos for Andrade, Blair Davenport, Kiana James, even though we've seen her on Main Event. Curious to see what they do with Dijak. Shinsuke's done nothing since he's gone over to SmackDown. There's a lot of people that I think we'll see more of in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, Shinsuke cut that promo. I forgot about that.
I was just about to say he did that one promo since he's been there.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to destroy stuff. See ya.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
We'll do the American Nightmare before Christmas again.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. I'll change the channel.
So hopefully we'll see some good stuff. I think that's about everything I got. You guys have anything before we head out?
Happy Memorial Day to everyone.
Happy Memorial Day.
Yeah.
It would have been a good time to potentially run a special tribute to the troops or something like that. So hopefully they'll be bringing those back because I always like those shows. Those are really cool.
They did it this week not this week. I'm sorry, this year in Providence because of the Army-Navy game at Gillette. Yeah. So that was a very weird timing, I thought, sort of it compared to when they used to do it.
Yeah. Oh, that was another thing I was going to say earlier. We got off track and I didn't get to mention it. We were talking about the crowds in France. Comparatively speaking, we can compare those crowds to WWE crowds, but I've been to college football championship games before. I'm sure you guys have seen some championship games as well. And the crowds in France, I mean, they even rivaled almost that. So to compare it to something else.
Yeah. And that's 11,000 people going against 100,000. That shows the level that they're on.
Yep.
I was at WrestleMania 38 and saw Cody's return, and that was bananas for the crowd hearing it in person. But it was nothing compared to hearing France through the TV.
Yep.
So it's definitely something that you can compare to WWE, but stacking it up against I've been to bowl games and stuff like that, and those crowds are always bananas depending on the rivalry going into them. But it was louder than that. So, fellas, thanks for sitting down today, enjoying this beautiful Memorial Day. Thanks to everybody who joined us and stopping by today. Of course, this video is live. The audio will go up most likely tomorrow. And that's all for us. Have a good week. Happy Memorial Day. And we will see you either Sunday night or Monday morning, one of the two of next week. So we'll see you later.